What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we are going to discuss the operations of a union at the union meeting. A lot of people are intimidated to go to union meetings and to actually participate because they don't understand the rules of decorum and how the union meeting functions and how they are to function within a union meeting. Many folks that go to a union meeting for the first time may hear some stuff going on and being discussed and may have an opinion one way or another and will not know how to approach getting that opinion onto the floor so that their siblings can hear it, the chair can hear it, and it can be considered. All of our union meetings follow the guidelines of Robert's Rules of Order. But what the heck are Robert's Rules of Order? What is that? If you're not a parliamentarian, how would you even know what that is? In fact, what's a parliamentarian? I'm just an electrician. What do I know? I'm just a plumber. What do I know? I'm just a painter, a drywall guy, a baker. What do I know about this stuff? Most likely, not much. And that's why you're here on the Union Minded channel, getting ready to discuss Robert's Rules of Order. What is it? Why is it used? And how is parliamentary procedure carried out at your union meeting? Well, let's talk about Robert's Rules of Order real quick. What is Robert's Rules of Order and what is it used for? And hold on, I'm going to backtrack for a moment. Why is Robert's Rules of Order used in an IBEW meeting? Well, you'll find it in your IBEW Constitution, and it is in Article 15 in the Parliamentary Rules, number 11. First off, it describes 10 rules of parliamentary procedure, but then the 11th rule says, all other parliamentary questions not decided in these rules shall be decided by Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. So in your Constitution, it tells you Robert's Rules of Order governs the meeting and how it goes. So what is Robert's Rules of Order? According to Board Effect, Robert's Rules is a framework that is comprised of a set of codes and rules of ethics that helps groups hold orderly meetings that allow the majority to rule while allowing minority voices to be heard. There are four primary types of motions in Robert's Rules of Order. You have main motions, subsidiary motions, incidental motions, renewal motions. Robert's Rules of Order for meetings is the general standard for how nonprofit boards, committees, and other established groups govern discussions and decision making. Most nonprofits and groups use Robert's Rules because it ensures order and creates a ripe environment for productivity. That's a very basic description of what Robert's Rules of Order are. And this is to govern a union meeting or a meeting and try to get business done in an orderly way. But let's take a look at the Constitution because there are parliamentary rules in the Constitution that are set out in our Constitution for guiding how local unions run. And they'll be the guiding rules for the order of business and how we go about motioning, discussing, and all that other stuff. So let's run through it real quick. Number one, the chair may save time in deciding certain questions by asking if there are any objections. If there are none, the chair shall declare an action adopted. That's pretty straightforward. If we want to save time, let's say pay the bills, right? Let's say the executive board says we should pay the bills this month. Then the chair will say, all right, this is the recommendation of your executive board. Is there any discussion? If there is no objection and no discussion, we can go ahead and run through that procedure. And we can do that with many items that may come up for discussion. So you can save time by skipping it all and just say, are there any objections to what is about to happen? Seeing none, let's go. The motion carries. The chair shall not allow any member of the local union to speak more than once on the same subject until all members desiring the floor have spoken. Again, this is a way to allow for the minority voice to be heard. Even though we're going to vote and have a majority decision, you got to allow the minority voice in the room to be heard. And that doesn't mean ethnic minority. We're talking about the person who is not in the majority or in favor of whatever's going on. We got to be able to have all perspectives. And not more than twice and not more than 7 minutes at any one time. So you can't speak for longer than 7 minutes on any given topic at any given time. Sectarian discussions shall not be permitted under any circumstances. That's rule number 3. Stick to the business of the union. When members desire all talk or debate to be stopped and a vote taken, they may call for the previous question. Now, what this is saying is there's a motion on the floor, there's discussion that's happening, there's debate that's going on, and you want it to end. You want the vote to happen. We want to end discussion and let's go to the vote. Everybody's made their point, obviously. You move the previous question, and that is how you move it to a vote. You end discussion and you make the vote. And the way that it's worded here, when this is done, it shall be put to a vote at once in this form. Shall all debate be closed and the main question voted upon? If this carries by a majority vote, then a vote shall be taken at once on the question before the meeting. If the chair calls something out of order, an appeal may be taken at the meeting on any ruling of the chair, but not when a question of law is involved. When an appeal is taken to the meeting, the chair shall state it in these words: shall the decision of your chair be upheld? The member making the appeal shall then state their grounds, and the chair shall give the reason for the decision. The vote shall then be taken without further debate. So whenever a member in the body disagrees with a ruling from the chair, they have the right to appeal to the meeting. And that gives that member a chance to state their views on why they believe the chair made a mistake in their ruling. And then it's up to the union body to decide whether they agree with the chair or whether they agree with the person who disagrees with the chair's decision. And that's, again, allowing for orderly process of getting the business of the union done. Number 6, a question can be reconsidered only at the same meeting or at the next regular meeting. If reconsidered at the same meeting, a majority vote is sufficient. If reconsidered at the next meeting, a 2/3 vote is required. A motion to reconsider must be made and seconded by 2 members who voted with the majority. So if a motion is brought to the floor and it's defeated, at the next meeting, a person who voted with the majority to defeat that motion can bring it back up for reconsideration, but it has to be seconded also by a person who voted to defeat that motion. And then you need a 2/3 majority vote to reconsider that same question. A motion can be amended only twice. So I think we're pretty sure what an amendment is. That's when you have a motion on the floor and you want to add to it or take away to it or change the wording. That would be your amendment. You can only do it twice. Number 8, if a motion has been amended, then the amendment shall be voted upon first. If more than one amendment has been offered, then the vote shall be first on the amendment to the amendment, next on the amendment to the motion, and last on the original motion. This is just order of operations. You put a motion on the floor, it was amended again. The second amendment gets voted first, then the amendment to the original motion gets voted, and then the main motion gets voted. Number 9, motions to lay on the table or to read a paper or document to adjourn are not debatable. So a motion to lay on the table, we'll get into that in a little bit, but a motion to lay on the table is basically saying, let's not decide this right now. And that's not debatable, but that does require a majority vote. Also, a motion to adjourn, that's to end the meeting. That's when business has been going on long enough, you're into the good of the union, and you're kind of just shooting off things and it's getting late. Somebody can motion to adjourn. That needs to be seconded and then voted as a majority. All resolutions and resignations but must be submitted in writing. So if you have a resolution that you want to make or a bylaw change or anything like that, you have to submit it in writing. All other parliamentary questions not decided in these rules shall be decided by Robert's Rules of Order. Now, Robert's Rules of Order, there's a lot of organizations that do something really cool. They do a cheat sheet for Robert's Rules. And I'm going to put the cheat sheet in the description box of this video. But basically, it's a rundown of an action. You want something to be done. Let's say it's to end debate. Your action, you want to end debate, you would say, I move the previous question. No more debate. Then can you interrupt the speaker when you're doing that? No, you have to wait for your turn. So you're going to raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and then you're going to say, I move the previous question. Do you need a second? In this, according to this cheat sheet, yeah, you need a second to end debate. Is your motion to end debate debatable? That's your third column. Yes, it can be debated. Can it be amended? According to the cheat sheet, no, it cannot be amended. And how many votes do you need? A majority. This cheat sheet is very helpful in understanding how to move in a union meeting, and I'm going to, again, add it into the description. There's also, adjourning a meeting, recessing a meeting, objecting to a procedure, overruling the chair's decision, amending a motion. It's all types of different language here. Extend the allotted time, enforce the rules. That's called a point of order. To table a motion, it means to postpone for a bit. I move to table. Verify voice count. You call for a division of the House. All of this stuff is in the cheat sheet, and I'll do a separate video on the cheat sheet itself. But I needed you guys to really know the process of a union meeting and what's your role. Now, when you go to your first union meeting, it's smart to observe and pay attention and see how the meeting goes and how the members that go regularly behave and how they act within the meeting. Because again, we have rules for the meeting, and we got to know the rules in order to be able to play the game. Otherwise, you'll get penalties and fouls and dumb penalties, and you end up losing the game. All right? My name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember that the fight is not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. Remember, there can be no union without you and I front and center. Let's go.